how do you see it fit into our system in the near future?
Net metering. The definition, and I provide a definition for those who might not understand it. Net metering is a relationship that's established with the utility company, whereby you produce your own electricity. The surplus at which you produce it is shipped out into the internet, into the grid, because energy cannot be created or destroyed, and energy has a way of just following where weakness or where demand is, right? So when you produce your electricity, be it by solar or a biogas plant or whatever, and the grid is connected, that electricity will go out to the grid. So what the folks who want to do it are saying that, okay, if my electricity goes out into the grid to JPSCO, who will be able to get it and sell it to somebody else, then you should pay, JPSCO should pay something for that. That's net metering, in layman's terms. Okay. Now, having given the basic definition, net metering can solve a significant amount of Jamaica's problem, the national problem. Because there are those who have the wherewithal financially to put in a system that would make them energy independent. But the most economical or the most financially viable way is to have a system that they'd invest in that will be able to deliver energy when they don't need it, right? So they're looking for the best bang for their buck, right? So the utility company should be forced to enter into some kind of agreement if the generation that is being carried out is environmentally friendly and sustainable. They should be forced to do so, and that's my strong statement, right? The rate at which the exporter of this energy should be paid should be what the utility savvy people consider to be what is known as the avoided cost. And this can be easily calculated as well, and it's calculated by OUR. The numbers are there, right? So if we can even start out by looking at the avoided cost and the cost of the displaced energy that you would have to import, the fuel oil, etc., something can be worked out. We are really just playing around with this thing. So net metering should happen, and we should take you should have a political will to make it happen, because some of it is really a matter of political will. The utility company has its fears as well, and we have to respect that. So they are not just saying, no, we don't want it. They do have their fear. You're forcing them to, as well, to invest in additional plant, to increase the size of their plant. Suppose this man increases plant, and then you come to him and say, old man, I just put in a 10 megawatt PV system down the road. That's 10 megawatts of his revenue. So we have to consider, and that's why I say there has to be a political will, and it has to be related to the national policy. So it's not so easy, but I said they should be forced to do it.
On cogeneration,
yes,
you're thinking in terms of a diesel generator, hot water, electricity, etc. But when you get into the question of noise pollution and environmental pollution, there may be some issues there. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure what is happening in new technologies such as fuel cells, and whether that is not a much cleaner alternative to generators. And that technology has been coming and coming for a long time. I'm not hearing yourself or anybody else talking about it in Jamaica, where they're now testing it in California, people like Honda, etc. I'm not sure if they're not more appropriate technologies than is now popular, but it's actually ready for use, but maybe we're not jumping out of the box fast enough.
The thing is, you can get punch drunk, you can get burnt out. I personally have been burnt out. Yes, that technology is not only coming, it is here. Not in Jamaica, but it should be applied here. It deals with the noise pollution problem. But the thing is, however, is that noise problem is not a problem with even cogeneration with engines today. Take, for instance, you saw the calculations as it relates to LPG use. If you install a cogeneration unit utilizing LPG and with proper enclosure, you might very well walk by that door and don't know that a generator is running in this room. It is that quiet. I've been to facilities where I walk by a cogeneration unit and the guy said, by the way, you just passed it, you know. It sounds about like an air conditioning unit running outside the condenser. That's the noise level they are down to, unless. And of course, with fuel cell, the noise is zero. There is the opportunity to utilize cogen here, especially within the facilities that requires electricity 24 hours a day, a fair amount, and thermal energy in the form of air conditioning. Because you can utilize the heat from, as I showed you, you can utilize the heat from the generator to deliver air conditioning service. And that air conditioning, you know, would be so-called free. So even if you generate electricity with the fuel at the equivalent price of JPS cogeneration, because that's about how the mathematics are working out now, that you can produce electricity at the equivalent price of JPS rate or a little better when you utilize LPG. Then the heat from the LPG generator would then be utilized to do whatever else you want to do as we can say, free energy. Fuel cells should be utilized in Jamaica now, because fuel cells also avails you the opportunity to use that heat from that process to benefit in terms of thermal energy, air conditioning, hot water, and so forth. They are now available at sizes that could easily power a single KFC. So it should be something that KFC should look at in a very serious way. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. Right. So this is why net metering must be implemented, because that constant delivery of energy is still being delivered at a higher efficiency than the utility company's efficiency. Who suffers? The country. You could channel that into the grid, and somebody who needs it pays for it. As a matter of fact, California has a convenient way of dealing with that. What they do is that if I have my cogeneration facility in Los Angeles, and I put the power into the grid as they do there, somebody in San Francisco can buy that power from me through net metering. You see what I mean? So it's not because the grid is considered a separate sector from the power generation system. Why not make the grid a separate sector in Jamaica? I think I'm ripping up some. But why not make a separate system in Jamaica where you have the grid owned by the government and the utility companies who want to generate power at whatever price they want to generate? This is where we must get to. Okay? But I'm not here to discuss political and other matters. But I'm just planting a seed as well. But those technologies, yes. They can be applied? No. Okay. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. So without further ado, I'd like to ask Martha to come up and deal with her presentation. Thank you.
So the last presentation